You're issued a number, an 8x10 cell, and a cellmate you didn't choose. The door slams. The noise never stops. Within 48 hours, you'll be tested. How you respond determines everything. This is your life, level by level, inside the hierarchy. Level 1. Fish. You are new, untested, vulnerable. You arrive during intake at a maximum security facility. They strip your identity. You become a number. The cell is 8x10. Concrete walls. Metal toilet. A bunk you didn't choose with a man you don't know. The term everyone uses for you is fish. It means prey. Within 48 hours, they test you. Someone asks to borrow your commissary. Someone sits at your table uninvited. Someone touches your property to see if you'll react. Every response is being watched. The yard is divided by invisible lines. Whites here, blacks there, southerners in that corner. You don't know where you're allowed to stand yet. You learn the code fast. Never help staff with investigations. Never disrespect another mon's space. Never show weakness. Your paperwork, your charges, your past, will be scrutinized within the week. Sex offenders and informants get escorted to protective custody. You watch them leave and understand what happens when you're marked. You tell yourself you'll keep your head down. You tell yourself you'll stay unaffiliated. You tell yourself you can do this alone. But you're already weighing the other path. The protection, the power, the permanence. The noise never stops. Metal doors, voices echoing, ventilation humming. You're counting days until you're no longer the newest face on the block. You're learning that survival here isn't about time served. It's about the choices you make when everyone's watching. Level 2. Unaffiliated inmate. You've survived 6 months by minding your business and following the code. You're part of the largest group in the prison. No gang ties. No protection beyond your own ability to stay invisible. You work in the kitchen or the library. 12 to 40 cents per hour. It buys ramen, coffee, soap, stamps. It buys small comforts in a place designed to strip them away. You've learned to read the yard. You recognize when tension is rising between gangs. You disappear before the lockdown happens. You've built a small network of other unaffiliated men. You play cards. You trade books. You work out together. But you have no real power. When the gangs go to war, you're locked down for weeks. 23 hours a day in your cell. Punished for conflicts you had nothing to do with. You watch gang members get privileges you'll never have. Better cells. Access to contraband. Protection from violence. You also watch them get stabbed in the showers. Shipped to Supermax. Found dead. You follow strict etiquette. You don't ask questions. You don't stare. You respect boundaries. You never sit in someone else's spot. One wrong move. Wrong place. Wrong person. Mistaken for a snitch, could end everything. The loneliness is constant. You write letters home that take 2 weeks to arrive. Your family's visits are your only anchor to the world outside these walls. You're doing your time quietly. But quiet doesn't mean safe. It just means no one's decided you're worth the trouble yet. Level 3. Soldier. You're a patched member now. Mexican Mafia. Aryan Brotherhood. Black Guerrilla Family. You belong to the organization. You earned your patch over 8 to 12 months as a prospect. You proved your loyalty by carrying out orders without question. You moved contraband. You committed violence on command. The phrase is literal. Blood in, blood out. You may have been required to assault or killed to join. You know that leaving means death. You're protected now. No one touches you without consequences. You're also governed, a written constitution, by laws that dictate every aspect of your behavior. Who you associate with, how you handle disrespect, how you conduct business. You're taxed. A percentage of any money you earn goes up the chain. Your responsibilities are clear. Enforce yard politics. Move drugs and cell phones that come in through corrupt guards or during visitation. Carry out punishments ordered by higher ranks. You've participated in stabbings during yard wars. Gang conflicts that lock down the entire prison for weeks while CIS investigates and confiscates weapons. You sleep light. You're always aware of who's behind you. You know where the blind spots are in the security cameras. You've gained respect and safety, but you've lost autonomy. Your life is no longer your own. Your life belongs to the gang. Inside these walls, outside these walls, forever. You traded loneliness for belonging. But belonging came with a price written in blood, and the bill never stops coming due. You've earned your place in the structure. What comes next isn't just more responsibility. It's the violence that makes the hierarchy real. And the isolation that comes with power. You don't carry out orders anymore. You give them. There's a difference. It took you 3 years to earn this position. Now it's the only thing standing between you and a shank in the yard. You're the muscle behind policy. When someone breaks the code, you're the one who delivers the message. A beating in the shower. A blade between the ribs during rec time. You've done things that keep you awake at night, but you've never hesitated when the order came down. Hesitation is weakness. Weakness is death. You oversee a crew of 8 to 12 soldiers. You manage drug distribution on your block. Heroin, meth, fentanyl smuggled in through corrupt guards who make more from you than from their state paycheck. You collect debts, enforce taxes, mediate disputes before they escalate into unauthorized violence that brings sis down on everyone. You've killed, not in the heat of rage. Methodically, you planned the hit for 2 weeks. Studied movement patterns, identified camera blind spots, secured the weapon, waited for the signal. You remember his face. You remember the sound. You remember walking back to your cell while the alarm started screaming. You can't show remorse. You can't show doubt. You can't show anything but absolute commitment to the organization. The other enforcers are watching. The soldiers below you are watching. The shot caller above you is always watching. You've become the violence that holds the hierarchy together. And violence, you've learned, doesn't wash off. You control an entire housing unit. 200 inmates. 30 of them belong to your organization. The rest exist in the ecosystem you manage. You don't move product. You don't carry weapons. You orchestrate. Your cell is different now. Single occupancy. A television you paid $3,000 for. A tablet with restricted email access. Books, commissary, a hot plate for cooking real food. Guards address you with a certain deference. They know you keep the peace. They know what happens when you don't. You approve all major decisions on your unit. Who gets taxed? Who gets protection? Who gets green lit for violence? You communicate with shot callers in other facilities through coded letters and corrupt staff. You're managing a business worth hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. The money flows out through your people on the street. You sit on the council. 5 to 7 high-ranking members who resolve disputes, authorize hits, and set policy for the entire organization within the prison system. Your vote matters. Your word can spare a life or end one. Men who disrespected you 5 years ago won't make eye contact now. But you're isolated. You can't trust anyone completely. Not the enforcers who want your position. Not the soldiers who might be informants. Not even your own cellmate from years ago, now in another facility, who might cut a deal to reduce his sentence. You remember being a fish. You remember thinking you'd do your time and leave. Now you're serving life. And even if you weren't, you've made decisions that follow you beyond these walls. Power inside doesn't feel like power. It feels like permanent, calculated paranoia. You run the entire organization within the facility. Every major decision flows through you. Hits, alliances, business operations, policy changes. You are the final authority for 300 gang members across 6 housing units. Your word is law. You've been down for 22 years. Life without parole. You'll die here. That clarity gives you a kind of freedom the others don't have. You're not chasing release. You're building legacy. Your orders reach beyond these walls. Street-level operations, drug trafficking networks, retaliation hits on the outside. You communicate through attorneys, corrupt staff, and coded visits. You live in administrative segregation by choice. 23 hours alone. It's safer. You have enemies in every facility in the state. Rival gangs who've tried to kill you 4 times. Members of your own organization who think you've gone soft or made the wrong call. There's a price on your head worth $20,000 on the street. You settle disputes between factions. You authorize violence with a nod. You've ordered men killed for violations you never witnessed, based on testimony from people you've never met. You trust the structure. You are the structure. But the weight is crushing. Every decision carries consequences that ripple through hundreds of lives. You remember the fish you were. Scared, alone, desperate for protection. You climbed every level to escape that vulnerability. Now you're at the top. Completely alone, more vulnerable than you've ever been. You built a kingdom inside a cage. And the bars were always there. There is no graduation ceremony inside. No moment where the hierarchy stops testing you. You simply wake up one day and realize that the person who walked in during intake no longer exists. What replaced them is sharper, harder, entirely rebuilt by the structure they climbed. And the structure never lets go.